Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. This is Jason Butt with the UGAsports.com quick take, bringing you at least one item of note to start your day with UGA football. Every Wednesday, I like to bring y'all Wednesday's wager. That's the general theme. So right now on Wednesday morning, Georgia versus Vanderbilt, we've got yet another giant spread. Georgia minus 38, Vanderbilt plus 38 on Saturday in Sanford Stadium. My first reaction is here we go again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. The last time Georgia was a giant favorite happened to be, well, actually against Auburn, and then they covered. But really, the Missouri game, they were substantial favorites. Did not cover that game. Thought they would. Kent State was the one that I thought they would also cover pretty easily. Did not cover. The worst was the fact that they were like 52 or 53-point favorites over Samford, and I bet them to cover. And sure enough, they did not. So Georgia against the spread this year is 3-3. It's been tough because of the up and down nature of this team. They've played down to some opponents, and then of course Oregon, South Carolina. Those are easy money days. And then Georgia made all fans and bettors sweat out the cover against Auburn. First half didn't look like that was going to happen, and sure enough, it did. But all right, so Georgia Vanderbilt, does it happen? My first inclination is no, but it's not a bet Vanderbilt. I think that it's 38 seems to be the number that is that I would feel like I would feel pretty good about, like, if I'm an odds maker. I'm thinking 38 is a pretty reasonable number for this game. I look back at Vanderbilt, Alabama. That's kind of the standard when you're setting this line. And Alabama was a 40.5-point favorite. Sure enough, I bet Bama to cover that game, and Bama covered it. It took them late to cover, so it wasn't like this was an easy cover. I mean, you're talking a lot of points. I mean, just the math. I mean, I know everybody here is smart that's watching this, but talking about 7 touchdowns and a field goal, 8 possessions with points difference. So you have to score that much with the other team, Vanderbilt, not scoring anything. And if Vanderbilt does score, you have to add that to your total. That's just so much. But as I do when it comes to betting, I like to go through the points per play. That's my number one metric. Georgia still sitting at 9th in the nation. 0.568 points per play. Obviously had a big boost. I believe they were 11th last week. Big boost in that, given that they were able to get 42 points, and really that fourth quarter really boosted them up. But this is where things get interesting. Yes, Georgia has a great defense. Yes, Alabama just annihilated Vanderbilt in that game. But Vanderbilt is 27th in the nation in points per play at 0.471. Now, Vanderbilt does have a pretty good receiver. They don't have much of a run game. Quarterback is not great against better competition. But they have shown a tendency. Obviously, I think that the Hawaii game is factoring in here with this metric. So you kind of, it definitely raises your eyebrows a little bit. You're sitting there thinking, okay, well, that number does not keen itself to a 38-point spread. So we'll go to the opponent points per play, and of course Georgia sitting at 7th, 0.21 points per play. They're just dominating that. Here's where things appear to be what they are when it comes to this massive spread. Vanderbilt 114th in the nation in points per play, 0.546 per play. Think about that. That's half a point per play. That's pretty insane. 114th in the nation, as I mentioned. So here's the crazy thing. So Vanderbilt Clark Lee, I think, has done a good job. Kirby Smart's talked them up this week already, saying they're probably the most improved team in the nation. I'm sorry, most improved team in the SEC. And yes and no. I mean, defensively, after the Hawaii game, 63-10, after the Hawaii game, they gave up 31 to Elon, 45 to Wake Forest. Wake Forest is good. They beat Northern Illinois 38-28. Which is kind of surprising, honestly, given that they won that game by 10, considering the trouble Kentucky had with Northern Illinois. Alabama beat Vanderbilt 55-3 after that. This is when the last 2 weeks is when things have gotten pretty interesting. Or I should say the last two games, because they had a bye in between these games. But 55-3 Alabama. So as I said, they covered late. Trust me, I was sweating that one out into the third, fourth quarter. And then Mississippi 52, Vanderbilt 28. Ole Miss somehow was Vegas was right on with this one, because Mississippi was 18.5, and a lot of people took Vanderbilt and swung that line down to 17. And it was a 17-point game until 18 seconds left. Thank you, Lane Kiffin and company, for getting that late touchdown. I definitely had Ole Miss covering that, and didn't think it would be as close as it was, but. Hey, kudos to the Ole Miss coaching staff for letting their players run up the score there. But you're talking about 55 points, 52 points. Here's the thing. This is why I would say this is a stay away for me, much like last week, and I don't think Vanderbilt's going to have a player run their mouth where I change my mind the day after. This is a stay away, and the main reason it's a stay away is you just don't know which Georgia team right now is going to show up offensively. I don't know if Vanderbilt scores. I think Vanderbilt scores less than 10 points. 10 is probably the ceiling. I think 10, like Auburn, that's the ceiling. They have one player in that whole offense, and it's not the quarterback. So much like Auburn, and the only reason Auburn scored a touchdown was just a broken, or I should say a busted coverage, really. Not even a busted coverage, just a out of position play. And then they got the field goal thanks to a sack fumble. So Vanderbilt and Auburn offensively really mirror each other. Not good. I expect Georgia to dominate somewhere between 0 and 7, no more than 10. So it comes down to Georgia's offense. Can Georgia's offense put up the 38 points and get this cover? Is it going to be a situation where they look like they did against Kent State and Missouri, or do they come out and they look like Auburn in the fourth quarter? And quite honestly, the Auburn game was a little closer than the final score indicated. It took until early fourth quarter before Georgia hit some of those explosive plays and ended up with a 32-point win and a cover. So it's funny. Week 3, week 4, I would have been all over this. So yeah, 39, that's amazing. But I am hesitant. I don't like it. If you're going to take a line, if you're going to take a bet in this game, the over here, 58.5, the under is 58.5. I mean, I would stay away from that too, quite honestly. I don't like Vanderbilt scoring, so you're relying on Georgia. I would lean under. I'll just go ahead and say that. I would lean under. I am staying away from this game altogether. I'm not ready to go in on Georgia on the massive over 30-point spread right now. And 58.5. I mean, you're talking about Georgia winning 49-10, because like I said, I don't think Vanderbilt scores more than 10, and you're going to need Georgia to put up 49. That under, yeah, definitely a lean. I'm just going to say that. Leaning, but I'm not taking it. I'm not endorsing it. I think Vanderbilt, Georgia is a complete stay away. Now, I do want to go to a couple of games real quick, since I'm telling you guys don't bet Georgia, and I think that's obviously boring and not fun for a lot of you. There are a few games that I want to point out. I know my head's turned away. I'm trying to scroll down. Okay. Here's one. I'm not going to advocate this one way or the other, but how is Kansas +9 against Oklahoma? This opened at +7, and I've liked Kansas. Kansas has played up to its competition each week. Oklahoma's coming up a 49-0 loss. Kansas almost. They were they're going blow for blow with TCU. I don't understand that line at all. The one line I want to throw out there, y'all are going to be like, what the hell, since this is a Georgia podcast. Texas San Antonio Roadrunners at Florida International. This is a big line, -33 for Texas San Antonio. Florida International is trash, and this is a game that I like big time. I like Texas San Antonio to cover. I think it's actually pretty easy money. The other one, it's a strong play, is California -14.5 over Colorado. Colorado has been amazing to fade all season long so far. Those are some recommended easy money games, and then of course the one I'm very interested in is Alabama, Tennessee -7.5. Haven't decided if I'm going to bet on this one. This is a you look at last week's game between Alabama and Texas A&M, and that would make you think Tennessee, but Alabama always seems to show up when the lights are shined on them the brightest, when they're doubted the most. So it would be really, really, really hard for me to bet against Alabama. I have not decided which way I want to go. 7.5 is a tough one because obviously if it was 6.5, I'm all over Alabama. But the fact that it's 7.5 right now, you like Alabama to win by a touchdown, but that half point, maybe you buy it down, maybe you buy the half point, and you get the push if they only come out a victory by a touchdown. But yeah, so that's it for the Wednesday Wager episode. Stay away from Georgia Vanderbilt. I'm just not feeling it, not liking it at all this week. Lean toward the under, just no vibe whatsoever, no feel, I should say, on the actual spread, the 38 points. And, it opened at, I think, 39.5. So you've already got people that are putting money on Vanderbilt and swinging it that way. But that happened too late against Auburn, where the day before, day of, it went from 29.5 to 27.5. I bought it again at 27.5, and that was probably my best play of the week last week, was taking Georgia to cover. So on that note, I'm going to let y'all enjoy your Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome. Just hit that subscribe button, like this, share this, do all that good stuff. If you haven't, join UGAsports.com's Dog Vent, the best Georgia community on the whole internet. Thank you so much for tuning in. As I said, you guys have been awesome, and I've been Jason Butt. Y'all take care.